All that good material I just wasted.
All right, let's
Can you
get.
do me a favor? Let's start over and let's repeat all of that. Okay, go ahead. Go. You first.
You're the best. You're the best. Let's start with, okay, there's a lot of active musicians that are out there now, on the circuit. How would you rank rank these three artists? Keanu Reeves, Johnny Depp, and yourself.
Oh, boy. Well, I would love to be a fair and impartial, honest critic, as I think the only way to rate music is to do so. You have to actually, first of all, have a sensibility of music to be able to even throw your hat in the ring. So many people are out there that call themselves music critics that don't have the first clue of how music is, thrown together. But that said, I would call myself an amateur music critic, if that's what you want to call it. I would not be able to give you a fair assessment of that answer because I've never heard Dog Star. I know that's the name of Keanu Reeves' band. Never heard it in my life. I have no idea what they sound like. And Johnny Depp, I don't think he even has a band. He just kind of pals around with whoever's willing to throw him up on stage that day, I think. So, yeah. No, I can't be any kind of judge of their music. So all I can say is that as a fellow artist, I wish them well.
So let's get into so do you practice every day with your band, or do you like an actual, going out there and working on music and you're in a studio?
Oh, no, we like to free ball. We call it free balling. We just go out there and throw it out in the wind and see what sticks. Maybe once in a while we all play the same chords. You never know. No, of course we rehearse. We rehearse diligently, 4 days a week, 5 hours a day. And that's for this tour because we're only playing a 30-minute set. But when we're playing our normal shows of 2 hours, 2.5 hours, generally we have an 8-hour rehearsal schedule 5 days a week.
Wow, dedicating a lot of time to the craft.
Of course. If you want to be the best, you've got to practice to be the best. That's just unfortunately how it works. So we put in a lot of hours. I'm sitting here pacing around my studio as we speak. This space I have, which is a giant space, but feels very small because it's cluttered with so many guitars. Thank you to Fender. Fender is my endorsement sponsor. They do all of our guitars, and I probably have, I would say, no less than 30 guitars to my name that I've amassed at this point, just based on how many tours I do. I've done so many tours. I think we're up to like 15 or 16 tours at this point, something like that. And so every time I tour, depending on what you're doing, what the band is, what the sound is, because I've got my band Truth Movement. We've done several tours with them. I've got my solo act, of course. I toured with the Angels for a while. So every time you go out in a new incarnation, you have a different look, you have a different sound. You want to change up your guitars. So I've got a lot of guitars.
So you have fans all over the world, from your various adventures. Is there a big difference between a fan that recites, let's just say, a line from a movie than those who like sing verbatim some of your songs?
I think there is, and I'll tell you what that is. It's called plagiarism. No, the difference being that, first of all, when somebody comes up and they recite something from a movie, 99% of the time, it's going to be some line that somebody else wrote. It's somebody else's wishes, somebody else's dreams, and they're not mine. So therefore, I'm taking them back. I'm taking them all back. Maybe you've heard those words somewhere before. So those are lines that were written for me from a movie, right? Mm-hmm. And it doesn't really have any impact other than to say, oh, yeah, I said that too. Whereas when it's something that you've written from your heart that means something to you, and you put it out into the world, and then you see people singing it back to you, that is like a huge gratitude. It's a huge gift. It's such a great feeling to see that what your words are that express your emotions are resonating with an audience, whatever that audience is, they're resonating with that audience. So when somebody comes up to you and says, "Oh man, your music saved my life," or, the words in your song are so powerful because it got me through this or that, that means more by leaps and bounds than somebody who says, "Oh, well, I loved your character in this movie." It's great that you did a good job playing a character, but you're just living out somebody else's fantasy at that point. You know what I mean? Like, your job as an actor is to create the idea that the writer or the director is trying to put forth. When you're an artist, you're putting your own ideas, your own emotions, your own thoughts and feelings forth into the world. And when people spit them back at you, that is a very kind of identifying feeling.
As an artist, we're always afraid of now, because of the advent of technology, to be plagiarized, copied. The rights to your likeness gets used by other people. How do you protect yourself in this day and age?
Well, all you can do really is continue to have as much surveillance on things like the internet as possible. Obviously, there's companies and organizations you can hire to protect yourself, to make sure that, there's people out there. I mean, look, almost every day, I have somebody contacting me saying, "Hey, I was just contacted by this person with a fake verification or a fake check mark on their social media post, who swears that they're you and is inviting me to a private DM, or is inviting me to, join them on Telegram, or, whatever these different stupid things are. They gave me their WhatsApp number and asked me to contact them, or, they're asking me for money, or they're asking me to send nude photos, or, there's people that go out there and do terrible, terrible things in my name or in any artist's name. Artists all over the world deal with this, I'm sure. I don't think I'm the only one. But, it is a problem that there is so much, misidentified personality, that people are going and mischaracterizing themselves as somebody else. And then we hear about it, and it's just shameful. So it's, to me, so sad and shocking that people have nothing better to do with their times than to pretend to be somebody else.
As a musician, you're out there, and when you're performing, you really are being vulnerable. What can you say about that, being that vulnerable and receiving that adrenaline rush when you're on stage like that?
Well, you're out there without any clothes. It's like the emperor with no clothes. You go out there on stage and you are raw. You are flesh and bone. And it's blood, sweat, and tears. Nobody knows what's going to happen on a live show. That's the thing I think that I find so ironic about it. That's what the song, The Joke, is really about. It's about the fact that, everybody's a critic, everybody's a judge, everybody wants to tell you what's good or bad or whatever. And what people don't realize is like, oh yeah, you get up here and do what I'm doing. You get up here. I mean, what we're going to be doing this summer, although we're only playing for 30 minutes, it's probably going to be one of the easier gigs of my life, just based on the fact that we're used to doing 2.5 hour shows. But that said, don't get me wrong, that when you're up there for even 30 minutes under those bright lights on a stage in front of, 10, 20,000 people, and it's 110 degrees out with a humidity layer that's 80%, and you can barely breathe, and you're bouncing around and jumping around, and you've got to act like it's a great time, while meanwhile you're literally seeing stars and you're barely, able to stand up without passing out or falling over and hitting your head. People do not realize the amount of drive and stamina that it takes to push yourself through that, wearing like ridiculously hot clothes. A lot of rock guys wear leather, and you're out there in these incredible temperatures under these incredible lights doing this stuff and pushing yourself beyond what normal humans are capable of pushing themselves to. And that's just one day. And then you get up and you finish the show. You got to pack up all your gear. You got to get back, stage wherever your dressing area is, clean up. And then you got to meet with people. And you're going to probably spend a good portion of the rest of the evening doing meet and greets, which, by the way, we do have VIP meet and greets available on my website for my new tour, the Loserville Tour, with Limp Bizkit. So if you want to get VIP passes to meet me after the show, you can do so by going to my website, CoreyFeldman.net. But anyway, so you do that after the show. That takes a couple hours. And then, you get back to the hotel. It's usually like 2 o'clock in the morning. You maybe get 2 or 3 hours of sleep, and then you got to pack up and do it all over again. You jump on the bus, 6 in the morning, you drive all day, you get to the next venue at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that, and then here you go. You set it all up and start all over. So, it is a very exhausting lifestyle. But I've been touring now for the last, 20 years, I guess, of my life, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I love it.
How do you maintain your youthfulness and energy throughout all this? I mean, you're not a spry chick anymore. What is your go-to, relaxation, peaceful moment?
Well, I'm only 22 years old, so it's important for people to realize that. At 22, I feel vibrant, I feel young, I feel energized, I feel electric, like electric youth. I feel like Debbie Gibson pretty much right now. I am a youthful person. I mean, anybody that knows me, would know. Like right now, I'm dating a 23-year-old girlfriend, and she has a hard time keeping up with me. That's just the facts. I'm a endless bound ball of energy. I don't know. I can't explain. I guess a lot of it probably has to do with my healthy living, my healthy lifestyle. I mean, obviously, everybody's different, right? We're all cut from a different cloth. Although we're all very much the same, we also have our differences. We have our similarities and our differences. And for me, the main difference is that I'm a vegetarian. I don't drink alcohol, I don't smoke cigarettes, and I don't do hard drugs. So if you eliminate those 4 elements that never really belonged in our bodies in the first place, you take all those out, and you've got nothing that's toxic, you've got nothing acidic, you've got nothing that's, congesting you in any way or weighing you down, obviously that's all going to have a huge difference in how your day-to-day life goes, and your energy levels, your performance levels, your endurance levels, all that kind of stuff.
And one last question, and this is a Hollywood question, and I apologize because we're so focused on music. How did you feel watching Kay Kwan go across the stage, someone who you worked with many moons ago on Goonies? And what was your reaction when you saw that or you heard of his accomplishments?
Listen, it's always great to see a brother in arms getting their due justice, okay? That's always a beautiful thing to see. But in the case of Key Kwan, Jonathan Kwan, however he wants to be known, listen, he is the sweetest guy in the world. Really, just such a sweet man, such a great guy, and very authentic, very genuine, very real. So, I had to sit there and watch him for decades as Sean and I, continued our careers and did what we do. And, we have the ability to sustain, whatever it is, whether it's I'm working on a film or he's working on a film, or I'm working on TV or he's working on TV. We're going back and forth, and we're having these highs and lows and peaks and valleys of our careers. And then you're watching your buddy over there who's doing nothing and so frustrated and doesn't know what to do with his life. And he's got a happy marriage. He's out there doing autograph shows with us, and that kind of feels like he's back in his his happy zone when he's there with us. But he's going back to a life where he's probably pretty frustrated, pretty miserable. And so to see him get his justice, to see him get his shot, his crack at doing something as an adult, which, let's face it, the pure injustice of the fact that, a kid gets all this success at a young age, and then all of a sudden it's stripped from them. All of a sudden they're treated like they're yesterday's news, like their life is over at 17 years old, when they're only just beginning. That's when their life is just beginning. And I guarantee you, any kid that's talented as a kid is going to be way more talented as they get older. There's this great myth that, kids in Hollywood, they lose the talent, they grow up and they get awkward. That's all BS. It's all contrived, and it's all, brainwashing fed to you by the machine. The truth of the matter is these kids are turning into fine young adults who are way more talented as they become self-aware and start taking their craft and their career seriously. So, I say enough of this. Let's give people the chance to continue blossoming as any craft, any career, any profession would. And with Keely Kwan, finally he got his due justice, and long overdue, but very, very proud of that man. Very happy for him. And let's hope that there's more of that.
Thank you so much for your time. And thank you for filling our lives with so much joy and happiness for so many years in so many different ways. I truly appreciate you.
Sure. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Thanks for the support. We'll see you out there.
Yes, sir. Take care.